Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating figures. I'm your host, General Biography, and today we're going to explore the life of Cassander, a man who would leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. Born in 358 BCE, Cassander was a Macedonian king and one of the most skilled politicians of his time. As we journey through his life, you'll discover how his early years shaped him into the cunning leader he became. Cassander's birth took place in Pella, the capital city of Macedonia, a region nestled in the north of ancient Greece. His father, Antipater, was a trusted friend and regent to King Philip II, and his mother, unknown to us by name, was likely from a noble family. As a member of the Macedonian aristocracy, Cassander's childhood would have been marked by privilege and exposure to the intricacies of politics. Growing up in Pella, Cassander would have been surrounded by the trappings of power and the vibrant culture of Macedonia. The city, founded by King Archelaus in 413 BCE, was a hub of artistic and intellectual expression, attracting some of the most prominent minds of the time. The young Cassander would have seen the likes of Euripides and Aristophanes performing their plays, and perhaps even met the famous philosopher Aristotle, who tutored Alexander the Great himself. Cassander's education would have been typical for a young noble in ancient Macedonia, with a strong emphasis on military training, literature, and philosophy. He would have studied Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, which were considered essential reading for any young Greek noble. The teachings of Aristotle, who stressed the importance of virtue, justice, and the pursuit of happiness, would also have had a profound impact on Cassander's worldview. As Cassander grew older, he would have become increasingly aware of the complexities of Macedonian politics. His father, Antipater, played a crucial role in maintaining order in Macedonia during Alexander the Great's campaigns, and Cassander would have seen firsthand the challenges of governing a vast territory and the delicate balance of power within the royal court. The relationship between Cassander and his father was likely complex, with Antipater serving both as a mentor and a figure of authority. The death of Philip II in 3036 BCE and the subsequent accession of Alexander the Great would have further altered the landscape of Cassander's life. As Alexander set out on his conquests, Cassander's family would have been drawn into the orbit of the royal court, exposing him to the intrigues and rivalries that characterize Macedonian politics. As we explore Cassander's early life, it becomes clear that his formative years were marked by a unique blend of privilege, education, and exposure to the harsh realities of war. These factors would combine to create a complex and ambitious individual, driven to succeed in a world where the stakes were high and the consequences of failure were dire. With this foundation laid, Cassander was poised on the cusp of his first major event, one that would set him on a path towards greatness and forever alter the course of his life. As Alexander the Great's conquests expanded the Macedonian Empire, Cassander's family was drawn into the orbit of the royal court. His father, Antipater, played a crucial role in maintaining order in Macedonia during Alexander's campaigns, and Cassander would have seen firsthand the complexities of governing a vast territory and the delicate balance of power within the royal court. In 336 BCE, Philip II's death and Alexander's accession to the throne set off a chain reaction of events that would alter the landscape of Cassander's life. As Alexander set out on his conquests, Cassander's family was thrust into the midst of the royal court's intrigues and rivalries. It was during this time that Cassander likely developed his skills as a diplomat and politician, learning from his father and other experienced leaders how to navigate the treacherous waters of Macedonian politics. One of the most significant events in Cassander's early career was his involvement in the conflict between Alexander the Great and his regent, Antipater. In 3023 BCE, Alexander died suddenly, and a power struggle ensued as various factions vied for control of the empire. Cassander, who had been serving as a commander in Alexander's army, returned to Macedonia to support his father's claim to the regency. Cassander's actions during this period demonstrate his cunning and ambition. He formed alliances with other powerful leaders, including Ptolemy I Soter, one of Alexander's closest companions, and began to build a network of supporters who would help him achieve his goals. At the same time, he was careful to maintain good relations with the other Diadochi, or successors of Alexander, in order to avoid being seen as a threat. As Cassander navigated the complex web of alliances and rivalries that characterized the early Hellenistic period, he began to establish himself as a major player in Macedonian politics. In 3017 BCE, he married Thessalonica, a daughter of Philip II, which helped to solidify his claim to the throne. He also formed an alliance with Polyperchon, another powerful leader, and together they were able to defeat their rival, Olympias, Alexander's mother. Cassander's victory over Olympias marked a significant turning point in his career. He was now recognized as one of the most powerful leaders in Macedonia, and he began to consolidate his position by eliminating potential rivals and establishing a strong centralized government. As he looked out upon the landscape of the ancient world, Cassander must have felt a sense of pride and accomplishment, knowing that he had risen from relative obscurity to become one of the most influential figures of his time. The Athenian statesman Demosthenes once said, "The man who has never been at war is not fit to be called a man." For Cassander, this sentiment would have rung true. His experiences as a soldier and commander had taught him the value of courage, strategy, and cunning, and he would carry these lessons with him for the rest of his life. As we look back on Cassander's early career, it becomes clear that he was driven by a desire for power and recognition. He was willing to do whatever it took to achieve his goals, even if it meant forming alliances with former enemies or eliminating potential rivals. And yet, despite his ruthless ambition, Cassander was also a skilled diplomat and politician who understood the importance of building relationships and maintaining alliances. With his position in Macedonia secure, Cassander turned his attention to expanding his empire. He launched a series of military campaigns, conquering key cities and territories throughout Greece. His military prowess and strategic thinking earned him the respect of his peers, and he became known as one of the most skilled commanders of his time. The stage was set for a series of epic battles that would shape the course of history and leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. In 316 BCE, Cassander launched a campaign against the city of Pydna, which was held by Olympias, Alexander's mother. After a long siege, the city fell to Cassander, and Olympias was captured and eventually executed. This victory marked a significant milestone in Cassander's career, as it eliminated one of his most powerful rivals and cemented his control over Macedonia. However, Cassander's success was not without its challenges. He faced opposition from other Diadochi, including Antigonus I Monophthimus, who sought to expand his own empire at the expense of Cassander's territories. In 3015 BCE, Cassander formed an alliance with Ptolemy I Sutor and Seleucus I Therentagetor to counter the growing power of Antigonus. The conflict between Cassander and Antigonus would continue for several years, with both sides suffering significant losses. Despite being outnumbered, Cassander's military prowess and strategic thinking allowed him to hold his own against Antigonus's forces. In 31 BCE, the two leaders negotiated a peace treaty, which recognized Cassander as the ruler of Macedonia and granted him control over the territories he had conquered. As Cassander's empire expanded, he began to focus on consolidating his power and establishing a stable government. He founded several new cities, including Thessalonica, which would become a major center of commerce and culture in the ancient world. He also invested heavily in infrastructure, building roads, bridges, and public buildings that would facilitate trade and communication throughout his empire. Cassander's legacy extends far beyond his military conquests and political achievements. He was a patron of the arts and sciences, and his court attracted scholars, poets, and philosophers from all over the ancient world. The famous philosopher Aristotle, who had tutored Alexander the Great, was said to have been a friend and advisor to Cassander. As we reflect on Cassander's life, it becomes clear that he was a complex and multifaceted individual, driven by both ambition and a desire to leave a lasting legacy. His impact on the ancient world was profound, shaping the course of history in ways that would be felt for centuries to come. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus wrote, "Cassander, king of the Macedonians, was a man of great courage and intelligence, who had attained the highest power and reputation among the successors of Alexander." This assessment is echoed by modern historians, who recognized Cassander as one of the most important figures of the Hellenistic period. His story serves as a testament to the power of human ingenuity, ambition, and determination, and offers valuable insights into the complexities of politics, war, and leadership in the ancient world. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.